Parliament's Special Committee on Tax Rulings is winding up with a full vote on its findings and recommendations due before the end of the year. Set up after LuxLeaks and the outrage at the tax breaks given to multinationals, the committee was tasked with looking into whether tax rulings clash with state aid rules and national taxation law. If so, what to do next.
The role that this Parliament can play is keep the pressure on the Commission and on the Member States, show how bad the reality is so that they are politically forced to move.
Yes, sir, to that, says Antoine Deltour, the French accountant who blew the lid on the tax rulings that Luxembourg gave to hundreds of companies. In October, he was in Parliament, a place where he feels among friends, picking up a European Citizens Award. But with a trial in Luxembourg imminent, when we met him, he was reluctant to shout out loud, a whispered message, but no less strong for it.
We still have multinationals who can still move their profits from country to country. They make sure the processes are so complex that it keeps citizens at a distance and quiet.
It seems incredible, but the rules governing corporate tax go back to the new international order that took shape after the First World War, to the formation of the League of Nations.
The international tax rules were designed in the early 1920s to eliminate double taxation for cross-border investment. These rules have proved too weak because they have not kept pace with the way business operates.
The OECD is changing that. It's been driving new rules to get multinationals to share earnings and other key information and drive away the fog of obscurity and non-disclosure.
The financial crisis in 2008, I think, was the wake-up call for many governments that the international tax framework didn't work well. And there was a connection for once with some political pressure from the people. The man and the woman in the street not understanding why high net worth individuals could hide billions in tax havens, and why, on the other hand, some big juicy multinationals wouldn't pay taxes on their offshore profit because they could divorce the location of the profits and the location of the activity.
On the question of tax rulings and tax competition, which the Parliamentary Committee has been focusing on, he is unambiguous.
Tax rulings are here to stay, because tax rulings, as a matter of principles, are not bad. Harmful tax rulings are dead as of now. The exchange of information, the automatic exchange of information on the tax rulings will kill the toxicity of the rulings.
Tax rulings are made by the tax administrations of many EU member states, often on criteria which may support other objectives, like generating employment. In Belgium, Geert, Neef, is a lawyer acting for companies seeking rulings on their tax status and transactions. He says the landscape is already changing fast.
People do become more prudent, lesser interested in the setting up and the applying of aggressive tax schemes. If you know that your local tax inspector has an overall view of your tax revenues and taxes to be paid within a group, that I'm sure will have a major influence.
Is all of that reassuring to MEPs? Many wanted a committee of inquiry established rather than special committee, with powers to interrogate witnesses and demand documents. For some, it's been a frustrating 8 months.
We started visiting member states. We asked for documents later on. We discover now that we are not getting them. Aha, surprise, surprise. The member states do not want this. So they just want to appear as if they are doing something, but not doing the thing.
Fellow committee member Brian Hayes, who's from Ireland, a country which has come in for particular, but he says unfair attention, believes the past 8 months have helped to focus minds.
There's a much broader issue that has to be put at the centre of policymakers now, and the question is aggressive tax planning. We have to ensure that corporates, big and small, pay their fair share of taxes.
Where next then, in terms of future steps to be taken by Parliament?
We believe that European legislation should go the full way and not just doing the minima that the OECD initiative proposes, but go beyond that to make sure that we are tackling the issue. And basically in Europe that would mean gradually harmonizing or converging the corporate taxation systems across Europe.
The common issue that we face across Europe is to make sure that we don't have tax dumping, where effectively the competitive practices of one country are so competitive as to make it impossible for businesses to establish in other countries.
A final word to the man without whom the debate about tax rulings might never have come so far so quickly. This, as Antoine Deltour prepares to fight charges in Luxembourg, including theft allegations and allegations he violated Luxembourg's secrecy laws. If convicted, he faces between 5 and 10 years in prison.
Public pressure creates moral duty, not legal duty. This fruit is not yet mature. We want and we need protection for whistleblowers.